How is this playing out early to process through your eyes? Any special things that we have to take into account that we should expect or maybe should be alarmed about?
I think really it's a question of trust. If you trust the honesty of the FDA, don't worry about weaponization. If you're not so trusting, then this is going to be hugely controversial. And it'll be real interesting to see whether Trump tries to push the trial into next year to make it a big part of the election or get it over with quickly. That's going to be a huge point.
ABC legal analyst Royal Oaks, thank you so much for helping us put a lens on this morning, Royal.
You bet.
And we're getting through, hopefully. Let's get back to some news coming out of the KFI 24-hour newsroom. And I'm going to circle back to the Dean Sharp episode and segment and interview that we just did. And this has to do with trees, weeds, and grasses, and allergies.
Classic allergies are itchy, watery eyes, nasal congestion, maybe a scratchy throat.
That's Dr. Don Buckland, a preventative medicine doctor, who says it's tough to avoid pollen since it travels in the wind, but keeping windows shut and using air conditioning in your house and vehicle when the pollen count is high will help you a lot. He also says some pollen counts can increase after sunrise and peak at midday. He recommends antihistamines if needed.
And they work marvelous, but you have to use them for a few days before you get allergy symptoms.
Andrew Taravella, KFI News. The pollen count this year will be higher than expected, higher than usual because of all the vegetables we've had. And you might have seen the super blooms on the interweb as well. 2 people hurt in an explosion in Tarzana are in critical condition. The explosion yesterday happened inside a garage. There was a fire, but officials say it burned itself out. The U.S. Secret Service is talking with New York authorities about transporting former President Trump to Manhattan to face criminal charges. We just spoke about that with ABC's legal analyst, Royal Oaks. The law enforcement agency says it's working with state authorities and Trump's lawyers to provide for a safe surrender, and that its role in patient and personal protection that could continue on past this case means it does actually professionally. The 1-year-old baby who was injured in a 9-car pileup at the end of a pursuit in Long Beach earlier this week is out of the hospital. A baby who was in the car with the suspect was released from the hospital yesterday. 5 other people were taken to the hospital after Tuesday night's crash. Their conditions have not been improved. One innocent person, a 74-year-old woman, was killed in a crash caused by the suspect's running red light. A funeral is being held today for one of the victims of the Nashville school shooting. The service for 9-year-old Evelyn House will be held this afternoon at the Nashville church. 2 other children were also killed in Monday's mass shooting, as well as 3 adults. Funeral services for 9-year-old Hallie Scruggs will be held tomorrow. Services for 9-year-old William King will be held on Sunday. At the age of 57, Lolita is going home, and it's not the girl from the Maverick Hospital. More than 50 years after an orca named Lolita was captured for public display, she's been returned to her home in the Pacific Northwest from the Miami Seaquarium. Then she could be reunited with her 90-year-old mother, who's still swimming there with their family, that is, their pond. An unlikely coalition involving the theme park's owner, an animal rights group, and an NFL owner philanthropist announced the agreement yesterday. Moving the 5,000-pound orca could take up to 2 years and $20 million, and she'll be under 24-hour care until she acclimates to her new surroundings. Mark Ron, KFI News. President Biden and First Lady Jill Biden will be in Mississippi today to survey the damage caused by deadly tornadoes that tore through the region last week. The president will also meet with local and state officials about ongoing recovery efforts. Governor Tate Reeves says he'll join the delegation to accompany the Bidens on a tour of the most damaged areas. The visit comes after the president issued an emergency declaration for Mississippi, making federal funds available to 4 counties hardest hit by the storm. Another weather follow-up. More than 65 million Americans in at least 15 states are in the path of what meteorologists are calling explosive thunderstorms. The violent weather will develop today threatens a big swath of the center of the country, including cities such as Chicago, St. Louis, Minneapolis, and Little Rock. Forecasters say storms boiling up today and tonight could generate tornadoes, torrential rainfall, hail, and damaging 70 to 80 mile an hour wind gusts. Other cities in the fast-moving storm line that was going to move across the country today, including Detroit, Nashville, and Memphis. I'm not sure what to do with this one. Scientists say plants make noise when they're hurt or stressed. Researchers at Israel's Tel Aviv University said thirsty or stressed plants emitting popping sounds that are undetectable to the human ear. The scientists found that plants that are not stressed typically emitted less than 1 sound per hour, while plants that were dehydrated or injured produce dozens of sounds every hour. Well, there's something else for us to do. So that could have a point. Right sometimes. the only one for the and inflation gauge. The Federal Reserve follows closely rose slightly than anticipated in February, providing some hope that interest rate hikes are helping ease price increases. This is a much lower expected inflation rate than we expected. Personal Consumption Expenditures Price Index, it's a lot of words, but it's basically CPI, consumer prices, excluding food and energy, increased just 0.3% for the month. Commerce Department just reported that about half an hour ago. That was below the 0.4% that we all estimated, and lower than the 0.5% January increase that we saw as well. Southern California weather from KFI. A chilly start today with cloud cover. Those clouds are going to stick around for the rest of today and into tomorrow for LA and Orange counties. Highs in the low mid-60s inward and in the valleys as well. Overnight lows around 50 degrees. Tomorrow those clouds are going to move out and sunshine for the take during this time. Highs warmer tomorrow, reaching around 70 degrees in heat. A little cooler at the beach. Right now, though, Anaheim is at 45 degrees, and so is Orange. Norwalk and Hollywood are both at 46 degrees. We lead local. Live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom, I'm Jason Middleton. This has been your wake-up call, and now Nick Valiachi has news on the 405. We're going to review this morning driving. It's Friday morning on a lot of places in the southbound, but definitely not through Westchester, northbound side. Not too far from Howard Street, kind of approaching the 90. Ongoing issues involving a tanker truck, a wreck that has all northbound lanes with the exception of a carpool lane shutdown. That's why you're driving on the 405 northbound right now. There's a message to come away from the 105. Surprisingly, the Capitol Boulevard, Highway 1, that's looking better for your alternate as you come away from the LAX area. Heading northbound through Westchester, so that may be a good way to save a bit of time this morning. Got issues for you continuing on the 605 as we get to Keeper southbound side. Going to be a wreck that has another bigger wreck right here. That'll be a Mesquite drive from well before Rose Hills, almost as far back as Peck Road now. Playing from Rose Beach Boulevard to Surface Street alternate to the 605. Looking relatively decent for your drive there. Coming away from the 60 as you make way toward the 5. Beyond the 5 is where the Rose Beach Boulevard becomes the Lake Boulevard. 710 southbound is also the 605 southbound still wide open for your drive off the 60. Back in the 5. KFI in the Sky Hope Gets There Faster. I'm Nick Valiachi. If you own a small business and you get through COVID and you were able to retain 5 or more employees through COVID, you could be eligible to receive a payroll tax refund of $26,000 per employee. So let me suggest getrefunds.com. Go online, answer a few questions, takes under 10 minutes, and you'll see if your business qualifies for this payroll tax refund. No charge up front. It's contingency. So they get paid until your business gets paid. And businesses of all types can qualify, even if you put in PPP money, you're a nonprofit, even if that increases in sales during COVID. They are experts in the payroll tax refund program and have returned over $3 billion to businesses. In my case, a 6-figure refund. So to find out if your business qualifies, go to getrefunds.com, click on the qualify me button, and answer those few questions. GetRefunds.com, GetRefunds.com. Attorney Joe Cordell. Divorce forces a father to focus on what's most important, his children. You may no longer be a husband, but you'll always be a dad. In the divorce process, this comes down to 3 key concerns: physical custody, decision-making, as well as financial support. Each of these is important. It's important that you choose a lawyer that cares as much about these issues as you do. 1455 Gracie Road, Suite 1050, San Diego, California, 92108. CordellCordell.com. KFI AM 644, stimulating talk. There are what looks like sample bags of dog treats. Marzin's free snacks. They are not sample for you. There are some dog treats that I do enjoy. And now, Handle on the news. Ladies and gentlemen, here's Bill Handle. KFI AM 640. Bill Handle here. It is Friday, March 31st, last day of March, as we're well into spring, even though it's 46 degrees, getting out into my car this morning. And driving here over potholes, it's a pleasant drive, it really is. Also, something happened to me, first time it's ever happened. The radio in my car, because I go through, I listen to local news, I listen to CNN, Fox, even coming in, as well as TV before I go in the morning, just to figure out the news. As much as I like George Noory, I do not listen to Martian folks. and poltergeists and people talking to dead people. I just don't do that. In any case, my radio went out, and all I got was this crazy ass music, which I don't get. And it came back on again. Just weirdest thing. What kind of music was it? I don't know. It was just weird. Can you sing it to us? No. It was almost like a synthesizer trying to do elevator music in a store. Weird. Okay. Hello to the crowd. Good morning. Ann is here. Morning, Ann. Good morning. And I think Michelle's around someplace. Yeah. There you are. And Wayne, you're here? Yes, good morning. It sounds to me like the aliens who you are dissing by not listening are trying to send you a message that you should listen. Probably. My favorite Martian anal probe stories, it just happens occasionally, is it's usually somebody in Kansas or Nebraska who's working in the fields, and all of a sudden, boom, just finds himself or herself in some spaceship. Just like instantly, I guess transported in some way. And the Martians are doing the examination, the physical examination. And the one that's most uncomfortable, much like we look at colonoscopies uncomfortably, is it's the anal probe, the Martian anal probe. And they show up back right next to their baby mounds with really sore rear ends. Is this Martian? Are you Mars? No, it's I'm using a Martian as just a description, analyzed description. It could be Venusians. My better instinct is that we should move on and start getting on the news. But, however, still, I am fascinated. One thing, when they wake up suddenly in the ship, yes, are they mid-probe when they wake up? I don't know. I haven't gotten the story. I think they are, or shortly thereafter. I don't know. And then my other question would be, if these aliens are so advanced that they can take a guy, whisk him into a ship unconscious, whisk him back to his farm, can't they just keep him unconscious the whole time? Why are they letting him wake up in the middle of it? And maybe they don't. Maybe he is just sore afterwards, much like colonoscopy. All right, just a quick hello, Wayne. Good morning. Good morning. Tyler, he was in an alien ship. I know, Tyler. Good morning. Good morning. Hey, and I've mentioned many times that my dad spoke 9 languages, and among his languages, he spoke Venusian. It was pretty impressive. Did he do it in his sleep or on his life? Well, no, he could actually. So I just didn't understand. He didn't have a native tongue. He literally had an accent in every single language. I mean, it's just. We are now going to start Wingle on the news on this March 31, and man, we're starting the day with just a ton of news. Wayne and with Jason Middleton. Did I say hello to you, Jason? Good morning. Good morning, Jason, in for Jennifer today. So here we go. Lead story. Here's a shocker. Former President Trump indicted yesterday, just as the grand jury was packing up to go home. About 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and no one expected it. No one. Well, everybody expected the actual indictment, but no one expected it down yesterday. Matter of fact, we had been told that they weren't going to even meet about this till next week, and the stories, and even Trump released a story in a statement saying they may drop the case, so this just took everybody for a loop. And he's expected to appear in court next week. It's going to be booked. Yeah, I don't think they're going to release the mugshots. New York hasn't generally allowed releasing the mugshots. We get a little Freedom of Information Act request for that mugshot. Yeah, we'll see. Because people don't know what he looks like. Well, you know that there are people that they could get their hands on. First of all, we're not sure. We don't even know if it's a misdemeanor charge, if it's a felony charge. We don't know anything. It's going to be a felony charge. You say that, I'm curious what you base that on. I base that on, number one, the misdemeanor charge is the actual payment of the hush money. Okay, that's misdemeanor. if they include the payment of the hush money that affects the outcome of the election and connect that, that becomes a felony. Even a conspiracy to do that, if it didn't happen, and that kicks it right into a felony. And there's, I'm going to explain it later on. This is so wonky. This is so complicated. This was the worst case of all of the cases being brought against Donald Trump that they could have done. It gives the Trump folks and backers the biggest and the most ammunition to say this was a political witch hunt. Part of it has never even been done in New York. They're arguing a violation of federal law, and it's being done by a local DA. Yes, because the state crime would be falsifying the source of the payment to cover up another crime, and at that point, the other crime by reference can be a federal crime. It could be a crime in another state. Yeah, it's just, and you're correct, this is unprecedented, which is why I wonder how much of a real stretch this is to bring out Bragg. I think and he, the political side of it, he is so liberal, a Democrat, that he is at the top of the heap in terms of a successful argument could be made that it is political. So we'll move on. I'm going to talk more about that at 7 o'clock and at 7:20 and again at 8:20. So there's so much to it. It just doesn't stop. Yeah, and that includes like what comes next. And you mentioned the Tuesday is supposed to be when he shows up, or I guess voluntarily. We just spoke with ABC Royal Oaks. He suggested that it's going to be a before business hours kind of show up for the arraignment. And I guess that's the first appearance. I'm out of my depth when it comes to these legal proceedings, so I have to obviously go to prison or jail or something that his secret agent that's protecting have to go with. Yeah, they'd be on cells on either side. What else could you do? He's not going to jail. Of course not. I didn't realize that the agents, of course not. Now, here's the argument. He's being treated like he has to be treated like anybody else. That's a crock for a bunch of reasons. First of all, he's a former president. Then you have the Social Security detail, yada, yada, yada. But there are plenty of defendants that are treated differently than others. When you have a high-profile crime, for example, they are delivered to prison in these vans with security, and they have vests that are on. I mean, they're not treated the same. People are treated differently. So I don't see a big deal. The argument that, oh my God, he's being treated totally differently. Of course he is. The former president. And I real quick too, the parent company that owns True Social that invested in it, shares were up 11%. Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah. All right, let's do one more, and I think this is well, it's still related, which is that this same grand jury is also investigating the payment that was made to a former Playboy Playmate of the Year, Karen McDougal. This is a situation where the National Enquirer bought her story of having an affair with Donald Trump. I don't mean they believed it, bought it. I mean they bought it. They paid money for the exclusive right to the story, preventing her from saying anything about it anywhere else. And then they killed the story, and that's the famous catch and kill procedure that we started to hear about, where they were allegedly buying stories for the purpose of keeping them quiet. And that's the accusation as to that particular payment. It's not clear whether this would be a separate crime or whether they're looking into establishing some kind of pattern and practice on the part of Trump. And this is on a very high level. David Decker, who was the chief executive of the company that owned Esquire, actually testified because he was very good friends with Trump. And so there is an allegation the two of them got together, which, by the way, I completely believe to tell the story. I mean, there is no question. There's so much going on. All right, we'll take a break and we'll come back. We've got plenty more news. In the meantime, let's take in Jason Middleton live in the KFI 24-hour news. Several Midwest states are bracing for explosive thunderstorms today. At least 15 states are in the path of some violent weather systems today. Finland is joining NATO. Yesterday, the Turkish parliament unanimously voted in favor of Finland's membership. Turkey and Hungary, however, continue to block Sweden's application to become a NATO member. A jury has sided with the actors and entrepreneurs Gwyneth Paltrow, deciding that she would in a 26-week ski accident with a retired optometrist. Southern California weather with AFI. So we start today, cloud cover, clouds for the rest of today. Tomorrow, a little bit of clearing, a little more sunshine in the afternoon. Highs around 70 tomorrow, low to mid-60s today. This report brought to you by Steve James, Accident Attorneys. From the Southern California Toyota Dealers Traffic Center, let's go places. Let's check Chico Rivera into 605. It was a record involving big rig and had only the carpool lane open. Everything else shut down. They're getting work in CSP that has been cleared now. So 605 southbound, still going to be a busy one for you as you come away from Washington Boulevard and making your way towards the 5, but looking like a better drive overall. 5 northbound coming out through the Milwaukee and St. Springs area and leaving the 605. Down passing pretty good in there through Commerce as well as Boyle Heights passing the 710 toward downtown in the 101. And the northbound side of the 101 is going to be a busy drive for you. Coming away from 4th, passing the 10 State Bernardino Freeway and the 110 as you continue toward Rampart. KFI in the sky helps get there faster. I'm Nick Collier. Lowe's knows how to get your lawn ready for spring. Pick up the $10 off select Scotts fertilizers and get a Craftsman 20-volt string trimmer and leaf blower combo kit for just $99. Valid 3/23 through 4/5. Selection varies by location while supplies last. Excludes Alaska and Hawaii. This report is sponsored by BeWaterWise.com. Brought to you by the Metropolitan Water District of Southern California. With rebates for water-saving devices and tips to reduce water use inside and out. Visit BeWaterWise.com. That's BeWaterWise.com. Phillips Counseling showcasing the way they have run this company with love and dedication to their employees and creating their motto, revolutionizing the home improvement industry, one customer at a time, while changing the lives of their employees for the better. People make the difference. American Victor Windows is built on a team of home improvement experts who take great pride in their work, and the energy-saving advice they provide is priceless. American Victor Windows makes sure that all their installers are AAMA certified. Now, due to the rising energy costs, many people are turning to dual. If you have wood, aluminum, or even vinyl windows and enjoy saving money, plus you love the feeling of a well-insulated home, then you might be in the market for new windows and doors. American Victor Windows are custom-made to fit your needs and the style of your home. 0% interest, 0 payments until 2024, plus free expert installation. For all offers, call us your website for details. On approved credit, offers card 33123, CSLB 77836. It's showtime. Join us at the Florida Hall Show, March 29th to April 2nd at the Long Beach Convention Center, presented by Progressive, and celebrate 75 years of Hall Show excellence. The leader in outdoor recreation since 1946. Go to hallshows.com.
In California, I come to make the war show. Be prepared to take these foods. To Californians everywhere, we've been found to help you plan, budget, and save smarter. Our goal tracking and budgeting tools would have no place to shine if it weren't for you, and we can't thank you enough for that. And thank you to our real-life humans who go above and beyond for our customers every day. For JD Power 2022 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Member FDIC.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. Shopping for new blinds? At Blindster, we offer over 50 different blinds, shades, and shutters at low prices, custom made. You lost your cat up the street?
Yeah, be careful, mister.
Thanks, kid. Here you go.
Where did you find? And where is your nap and coat?
What? Oh, no, your mom and dad called us to clean out your shower drain.
Why?
They were up a tree, too.
Really?
Your dream was really fun. That's all. We make sure you live in a safe, clean house. So long.
Thanks for rescuing George.
It's what a hero does.
If you have a clogged drain, call Reader Hero Cleaning Air. Go online at ReaderHero.com.
Hi there, I'm Joel Larsar. Join me this Sunday for How to Money. We'll talk all things personal finance and help you learn how to save, invest, and enjoy more of what matters. How to Money with Joel Larsar. Sundays at noon on KFI and on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app. AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Joe Handle here and the crew. We continue on this day, I would think. Let's continue with Jason and for Jennifer, Wayne, and me. Former LA City Councilman Mark Ridley Thomas is having a moment to be convicted of federal bribery and conspiracy charges, also mail and wire fraud. Sentencing is in August. I was not in town for this. I just moved back, so I don't have a lot of groundwork on this. He has been in county and city politics for 30 years. And wasn't he in the assembly or something for a while? City council, yeah, I think city council, county supervisor. He has a big issue with county supervisor because as soon as he got his county supervisor's office, he was about to take $2.5 million to remodel it. And it was perfectly fine. And it was, a lot with him, a lot. And he's the poster person for what's wrong about lifetime career politics. Apparently, the thought of having to get a job in the private sector, I'm assuming gave him intense diarrhea or something. Bounce around city council, he went to the state for a while, county supervisor. Well, he turned out. He was turned out everything. He took a job in the private sector to save his life. And I think there's probably, it's just my opinion, there's probably a formula. When somebody turns out, if their next move is another elected office somewhere else, the likelihood that they're corrupt goes up like 30% for every set move. Oh, so with him, under my made-up theorem, by the time he was on his third public service thing, he was 90% likely to be corrupt. He was all part of the no justice, no peace, let's burn down LA crowd, too, which made me feel great about it. It was, I've never been. Well, he's looking at, I always yell when the press talks about the statutory maximums that he faces, because nobody ever gets it, but I'll throw it in, just 115 years. See that match, without knowing that the kinds of money amounts that are involved, it's hard to know. We know how much money is that. He was convicted of that $100,000 donation. And so then the federal sentencing guidelines for something like that aren't going to be that high. So what do you think he's going to do? No, 2 years, 3 years, seriously, that's it. It's not going to. If it's only this $100,000 transfer that you're talking about from his campaign to USC that then went to the United Way, if that's it for the money now, no, it's not going to be a lot of time. If there's more, I don't think there's more. It could go up. I don't know if they even argued there was more. It had to do with $100,000 for his son through SC. Right. And the dean of almost to the United Way. Right. It was a convoluted. It was clearly both a conspiracy and an end around to get his kid in USC with a full scholarship and a position. Looks bad. Looks bad. But if you look at it technically and you walk it out, it is not illegal. And the jury said, "Come on, what are you saying?" So, and the dean of the school of social work who was there, who ran it, she was convicted, and now she's awaiting sentencing. I like Wayne's theorem there, kind of like the miracle of compound corruption interest. Yeah. LA has a real interesting history. Recently, a lot of corruption going on. All right. I don't really like stories like these. Not because the story is a bad story to talk about, but the Wall Street Journal reporter Evan. Not because the story is a bad story to talk about, but the Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershcom, Secretary of State Anthony Blinken, in the strongest possible terms, we condemn the Kremlin's continued attempts to intimidate, repress, and punish journalists and civil society voices. We strenuously object. We maximally oppose. This rhetoric from people is okay. Now you talk about the other side, the Russian government, particularly the FSB, which Putin, by the way, was a colonel in. He was in the Secret Service. It's their FBI thing. So just a little bit more, let's just say a little more powerful, not quite as generous in how they use identity. In any case, they're saying they caught it red-handed. And this is espionage. This is not Griner, where she brought in a little bit of marijuana oil and to apologize. We're sorry. This is espionage. You know this Paul Whelan? Except this guy's a journalist. Yeah, this is Paul Whelan. Exactly the same. Yeah, and Paul Whelan's been there, 6 years in prison. And I don't know if Musk have some fluency in Russia. And at what point do that not? Yeah, and at what point does the State Department get the hell out of Russia? Everybody there. Everybody there. They have issued to Russia. American in Russia now is advised to get out as quickly as possible. Leverage for a prisoner swap here? Yep. Exposure to war. Maybe. Yeah. No. I think so. Not no, because remember with Wheeler, when Griner got swapped, and people said, what about Wheeler? What about Wheeler? And the problem was, Russia said, we will only accept a Russian spy that you are holding. Well, that's Germany for an American spy. They wanted the German guy out of there, which we couldn't get. Germany said, absolutely, we don't have any Russian spies that we're holding. So if they continue their trend of only accepting a spy for a spy, we have nothing to give. We have to arrest people. Yeah, you know what? We have to just arrest people. Let's go round up to Russia. Let's go to Russia. Yeah, there's a couple of great restaurants. And then stop them. There's some great Russian restaurants here in the city. There's one in the San Fernando Valley, which is great. Everybody speaks Russian in there. Just grab a few of them. And let's do it. All right, another story about Russia. Axis of evil in this one. Russia to offer food to North Korea if North Korea will give Russia some munitions/weapons. The situation in North Korea is obviously very dark, and we don't know. Now, this has already been assumed and accused by the United States that North Korea was already giving munitions to Russia. This was a little bit more, I guess, headline-worthy or confirmed. They're looking for this swap. And North Korea, everybody's starving. Then again, that's what Kim Jong is doing. What? No. I couldn't even look at the screen. They haven't given those weapons to Russia yet. That means they still have those weapons. Okay. Do you get what I'm saying, though? I'm saying they still have all those weapons. They haven't given any to Russia. They still have. The country who just said that about their leader still has all their weapons. They do. So, okay, please. Okay. Hundreds of pages of documents pertaining to that mass shooting in Las Vegas have been released. Is some information that might be a window into the mindset of the gunman, Stephen Paddock, and what may have caused him to, quote, snap. Honestly, I don't like saying somebody like that snapped because there was way too much planning and forethought that went into that massacre to say it's somebody who just snapped. But in any event, their interviews with a buddy of his, they were both gamblers, professional gamblers. And Paddock was a video poker player, and that was his main source of income. And the buddy says Paddock was mad because he used to be treated like a high roller, and he felt like they weren't treating him well enough anymore. And that somehow that may have led him to go to the Mandalay Bay. They gave him that $590 a night suite. They let him use a private service elevator to take up those suitcases that were loaded with weapons, and yet that he felt he was still not being properly respected. Yeah, interesting guy, in addition to being the perpetrator of the worst massacre, is that he made his living gambling. He obviously did a great job and did well because he was tossed out of 3 Reno casinos because he did too good a job gambling. And no accusation that he was cheating. Just he was really good, and the casino say, no, thank you. You're making too much money. Goodbye. It's very interesting case. I mean, all the way around. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back, and we'll do more with a handle on the news case in Middleton, live at KFI 24-hour news. A man who allegedly sold ghost guns all over the Inland Empire has been arrested. Police began looking into the alleged dealer because they noticed several guns at arrest had similar traits. Ontario police officer Joshua Lester says ghost guns have become more common in gun crime cases.
That's our biggest concern. We need to find a way to stop and apprehend these people that are illegally manufacturing and creating these
Police arrested the man at Diamond Bar earlier this week. They say he was making guns using a 3D printer. Police found more than 20 handguns and an AR-15 at the man's house. Blake Trolley, KFI News, a pharmacist from Orange County, has agreed to pay nearly $400,000 to settle federal allegations of fraud. The Fed said Giselle Wynn operated a pharmacy in Garden Grove and billed Medicare for medications that were never dispensed. The Newport Beach City Council has rejected an effort to declare a local state of emergency for storm damage. The declaration can be made if local officials feel there are conditions of disaster or of extreme peril to the safety of persons and property. They do not take the extreme peril level to the next. The grand jury in Manhattan has voted to indict former President Trump over hush money paid to a foreign actress before the 2016 election. ABC's Aaron Katursky says Trump did not testify before the grand jury, but was given the chance to.
Every potential defendant is given the opportunity to testify and tell his side of the story. Trump did not accept the invitation, but that cross notice is usually only given when an indictment is likely.
The Manhattan DA's office says it has reached out to Trump's attorneys to coordinate his surrender, which should happen on Tuesday. Trump's lawyers
Just have a fact that everyone sort of just kind of followed with that.
Team 2 today, 7:10 with Dustin May on the mound for LA. Merrill Kelly starting for the Diamondbacks. You can listen in HD on the iHeartRadio app live from the Calvin Motors broadcast booth. Shohei Ohtani threw 6 scoreless innings and strikeouts, but the Angels still lost to the A's 2-1. That series picks up again on Saturday, tomorrow. I'm Wayne Resnick, KFI Sports. Southern California weather from a chilly start today with cloud cover. Those clouds could stick around for the rest of today. Into tomorrow, actually, for LA and Orange counties, highs and lows at 60 to 2 winds. Lows in the valleys too. Overnight lows tonight around 50. It is tomorrow going to get sunnier, which is nice. Highs up to about 70 degrees mostly. Now we have KFI in the sky because Jeff Vaughn is airborne above the San Fernando Valley. Good morning, Jason. Wow, what a treat, man. The storms are gone. Clear skies. Looking out to the east here, it's not quite sunrise time. It's getting ready to do it. Boy, it's really nice out here. Enjoying. And most of all, happy Friday. Let's get to traffic. And a few things to warn you about. Number one, if you're going towards the New Wall Pass, there was a problem. Underline was it's all gone. They're on North 5 Road, just merging with the 4G. It's a little slow going through up there, but leaving the San Fernando Valley, South 405, cars were moving. That's a pretty good thing for the 405. That's for sure. A little slow getting through the interchange, but after that, you'll be okay in West LA. Now, a problem that's improving and we can't quite get over it. We were just doing circles around the 405 around the Marina Freeway. With the airplane, we can't go any farther south due to traffic at LAX. The big airplanes don't like us posting around there, but I think we've got some lanes up. We had most of the freeway shut down for a long time. North 405 is really jammed coming up from the 105, but you should start moving soon. And after that, it's slow, at least moving up towards Santa Monica Freeway. And then real quick, you get through the Glendale Pass a little while ago, North 101 Gallo. I'm going to check that again. The Gallo off was closed. That's a little bit north of Hollywood Boulevard, so just be careful. The 101 all the way back to the East Atlantic, it's really not too bad. It's by Morning Drive Center. I think you'll be okay. Stay with us. We'll keep you out of trouble. I promise. Jeff Vaughn, KFI in the sky. There's a better way to fly. You're probably fed up with being stuck in endless lines and packed planes. Try simplifying your travel with Surf Air. As a Surf Air member, you'll save an average of 2 hours on every flight and completely avoid busy airports. You can choose from thousands of aircraft and arrive at smaller airports closer to your home, all while flying on your own schedule. SurfAir.com, the best alternative to commercial air travel. There's a better way to fly. SurfAir.com.
The Hollywood Bowl Create Your Own Packages are on sale now for the summer. Choose 3 or more concerts that suit your taste, schedule, and budget. Get your tickets at HollywoodBowl.com.
For official rules and more information about contests on this station, go to KFIAM640.com/. Why did you choose weekdays if you're hurt.com/rules? Why did you choose weekdays if you're hurt in a car, motorcycle, or truck accident? Oh, let the results speak for themselves. Here's some of the settlements won for injured victims by the attorneys this weekend. $29 million won for a client hurt in a multiple accident. $11 million won for a client hurt in a truck win. They can't guarantee the outcome of any case, but it's important you have an experienced and successful law firm on your side. Get a free consultation at 800-500-5200, 800-500-5200, that's 800-500-5200, and sweetday.com.
For all of us, this generation and the next, there is simply no place in our lives for generation and the next. There is simply no place in our lives for glitter, and yet everywhere we look, and unfortunately, it does belong to all of us. So let's come together and create a litter-free, clean California once and for all. Join us at cleanca.com. That's cleanca.com. Let's do it together. Brought to you by Caltrans. Bank of America has powerful digital solutions for local and global businesses. You can make every move matter. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. Bank of America, N.A. Copyright 2023.
This is Jacob and Ronnie. If you've been in an accident, call Music Report Podcast. KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. And no handle here in the morning crew. Let's continue on. Friday, more handle on the news. Jason in for Jennifer Wayne. And the U.S. government is considering asking African Americans on federal forms for Jennifer Wayne. And the U.S. government is considering asking African Americans on federal forms, including the census, whether their ancestors were enslaved. This is kind of a continuation of the theme when it comes to more detailed questioning on federal forms that's been advocated for by Black Americans and their advocacy groups.
Yeah.
Is there any way to actually discern American citizen in your 19 years old, and he was born in Cape Town, South Africa? So on all of the documents, when he is asked for his ethnic background, he says African American. Because he is. He goes, I'm from Africa. I'm an American. You tell me I'm not African American. I am a Latino person, officially. Why? Because I come from Latin America. Latino tribe, anybody who has or comes from countries, Mexico, Central America, and in South American countries. You're a Latino. I said, now that bothers me. Look, does that work though? They're asking about your race. So I don't know if they still do it. You know, they're here in showbiz, if you will, radio. There was a quota system where you had to have certain African Americans, you had to have certain Latins, certain Asians, and they put me after Latin. I was like, because it's true. Okay, one of your earlier questions was how do you determine? How do you determine? I'm not sure what the strategies are here or what paradigms have to be used, but there is a study from Federal Reserve and Duke University that shows that Black Americans whose ancestors were enslaved tend to lag behind in wealth and education compared with more recent arrivals. So there must be a genealogical way to go back. How far back do you go? How accurate can those go? For example, you go to Louisiana, and there is what they used to call them. It's I don't know. I don't know what Black American means. Okay. Oh, this guy. I don't know if you remember. Well, if you rewind your mind to last Friday, and this guy was arrested for approaching and groping a 9-year-old at an Orange County Public Library branch. That was Friday. Tuesday, he was arrested again for doing something similar, allegedly, to an 11-year-old girl inside a Target store in Irvine. Now, you may say, how in the world do you get arrested for a sexual assault on a 9-year-old and you're out fooling around at Target 3-4 days later? He made bail. Right. Was made bail.
Arrested by and was caught again doing the same kind of thing.
And what do you think the chances are of him being able to make bail again?
I would hope that the chances are zip up.
Yeah, I can't imagine it like saying, okay to bail this time around.
Wow, this is a 53-year-old guy accused of doing these things. I mean, you got it. That makes him a massive danger every second that he's on the street.
Let's move on to, here's a word that makes headlines just almost as much as indictment these days, and that's fentanyl. The executive director of the San Jose Police Officers Association has been charged with attempting to illegally import a controlled substance, that substance being fentanyl. She's ordered thousands of opioids to her home and agreed to distribute them in the United States. Importing a controlled substance, as in fentanyl, this is no longer very popular with the association in San Jose.
Well, because of how embarrassing it is for them.
They just habits.
Yeah. Copy drugs and stuff. So you know that Amber Alert, the child goes missing, you put out an Amber Alert. Did you know that last year Governor Newsom signed a law creating a feather alert system that is specifically for indigenous people who are reported missing? You would issue a feather alert, and now a lawmaker from Inglewood wants to pass a law that would create an ebony alert. It would do the same thing for missing black children and young women.
Well, Amber Alert is black kids and young black women. Okay.
The Amber Alert is supposed to be
for everybody.
What they say is that when an indigenous person goes missing, or a black child or a black young woman goes missing, and I guess because it's only, once you're an adult, it's only if you're a young black woman. So I guess they're saying this isn't an issue with black men over 18, under 25. That what happens is it is written off as simply being a runaway. It is written off as simply being a runaway more often, and therefore nobody can find them. And this would somehow law enforcement and people care more if it's an ebony alert instead of it would never become an Amber Alert.
Yeah, and there's the other one, the introduction of the Inuit alert. Inuits, as you know, previously known as Eskimos, and those kids are fond to go to the frozen food section.
Oh my God!
I think Michelle's grown from here.
Really, honestly?
Let's take a break, and we'll come back.
No, question. What is wrong with you?
I take it around the frozen food section. We'll take a break. We'll be back. Let's check in with Jason Middleton live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom. Former President Trump is under indictment now in Manhattan. The hush money and financial crimes case, Trump will reportedly be arraigned Tuesday. The state, California, taking action to build a stronger health force. Governor Newsom says California is going to need thousands of workers over the next several years to address growing patient needs and replace those retiring. Several California cities are joining the battle to keep using an airborne firefighting tool. A federal lawsuit wants to stop fire retardant drops. Forest advocates say the substance does more harm than good. Municipal officials say fires destroy communities. We're going to get a live check on the 101 at Get Weather right after this. If you are bailing out of your house, you want out, and it's time to sell it, because you've been waiting, and rightly so, because of course property values just kept on exploding. All those days are gone. So a couple of ways of doing it. One, you hire a real estate broker, and you pay for the listing, you paint and clean the repair, and the house has to be spotless, and you can bring prospective buyers through the house, and you can't be there, and it's a tough way to live. Or you can sell your home to directbuyers.com. They'll give you a fair price, and if the closing, well, I'll tell you what they'll never do is low volume. As I said, it's a fair price. Go to directbuyers.com, call 844-242-SELL, 844-242-SELL. Visit direct KFI. Chilly start today, cloud cover, those clouds are going to stick around. Tomorrow for LA and OC. Highs in low to mid 60s. Inland and Port, brought to you by Whole Foods Market. From the Southern California Toyota Dealer Traffic Center, let's go places. Let's ask Jeff Ball to update the 101.
Steve, I bless you. Thank you, James. By the way,